Live.
Yep. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Buddies on Buddies, the show with two real-life buddies talking about buddy action comedy movies. I'm Kenny Lane.
I'm Lucas Hill.
And this is the Buddies on Buddies show. Welcome back, everybody.
We did it, guys. Episode 103, I want to say.
Around there, I think 31 or so. But yeah, it feels like 100 and fucking whatever.
It feels like a lot more than that. It really feels like it cuts into my week. I'll tell you that much.
Oh, yeah. We really, yeah.
No prep, no nothing. I just have to watch one movie and show up. And it really feels like a huge burden.
Yes. It takes up so much time. It's so demanding. I can't believe we're still doing this. And for free, too. We haven't even gotten paid yet.
Not yet. I mean, you Venmo me $300 every week, but other than that, no money.
Exactly. Well, I did get $1 from my boss to plug the golf course about 15 episodes back, but that was like the one thing. So,
what was the turnout on that?
Oh, I don't know if we've got any business from that. I think that we still have that particular episode probably has like 65 viewers or something, but maybe one person came out. Who knows?
So let's just say you owe your boss $1.
Yeah. I'll walk into his office. I'm so sorry. That was just a bad idea. That didn't. You deserve much better.
Well, at least he doesn't control us now,
Oh, yeah. All his notes and his demands. You got to cover this movie. You can't swear. You can't talk about these subjects. So, yeah.
WNBC. How are you, Kenny?
I'm not bad. Well, let's see. What's recently I did karaoke and out in public for the first time since before COVID. I do that, semi often there in Los Angeles. Me and Megan went out to the Long Beach Tavern Saturday night, and we both sang in front of a crowd, and that was cool. That was fun. That kind of gets you pumped.
What was your big hit song that you sang?
I sang Pepper by the Butthole Surfers. And the woman that was running it, she was like 60 or something, and it was loud. I was like, you just go up to her and tell her. And I was like, she's like, what are you gonna sing? And I said, Pepper by the Butthole Surfers. She was like, what ho? Butthole? And that went on for a little while. But it went over. I think it went over pretty well. Everyone was dancing. I think they thought it was some sort of psychedelic like 60s song or something.
And what does Megan sing?
She sang "Still the Same" by Bob Seger, one of her favorites. Yeah. Did very well too.
That's a good one. Great.
Yeah,
that's great.
Yeah. When was the last time you went and did karaoke? I remember you went out a couple times with me.
It was when I visited you in Astoria or Long Beach, wherever we were. Astoria when we did it.
Yeah,
we were at our hotel. I was trying to be funny and no one was laughing. And like, Lucas, just try to sing normal, but I can't sing. So I was like, all right, I did one normal, and it was just as bad. I was like, yeah, see, that's where I at least try to be funny.
Well, I remember you used to do like girls just want to have fun in a Count Dracula voice, like girls that want to have fun, and it's pretty funny for like 30 seconds. Then it gets really tiresome after like 3.5 minutes.
Well, that's a problem. Okay, dude. I'm hilarious the first 10 seconds of karaoke, and then like, oh shit, how long is the fucking song?
They do the chorus like 7 or 8 times, and you're just like, okay, great. So you can't really do ironic karaoke. You gotta just go up there and do it.
Yeah, but you can have fun. That's all it's about. But it's funny how serious people think. I don't want to talk about karaoke anymore. I'm not even good at it, and I don't like it because of that reason.
Can we just stop talking about karaoke? We're talking about it for like.
We just move on to some movies.
Just move on. Jesus
video
Christ.
Podcast.
We have like a lot. Yeah, we only have 40 more minutes left to talk about Twin Dragons.
Speaking of which, what movie are we talking about this week?
This week we are talking about Twin Dragons, the 1992 or maybe 99, depending on where you live, Golden Harvest release, directed by...
Someone did their research.
A little bit, yeah. Directed by Sue Hark and Ringo Lam, co-directors there, and starring Jackie Chan in a dual role as twin brothers.
Great. Before we get into that, and we will, is there anything you watched that you want to talk about?
Sure. Well, it being Black History Month, I watched The Woman King. Yes, I did.
I didn't see that on your Letterboxd. What did you think of The Woman King?
Oh, it's on there. Yeah, I liked it.
That's good. Sorry.
Yeah, it's a pretty good old-fashioned like sword and sandal type movie. One of those. Viola Davis is excellent. All the actors, directing, pacing is good. Camera work, editing, all that. It is one of those movies though that I immediately wanted to look up how historically accurate it was. And I was not surprised at all to see that they took many liberties with this true story. But overall, yeah, I think it's definitely worth seeing.
Did you ever go to that site I sent you, History versus Hollywood? I think it's something like that.
Yeah, I've been there. Yeah. So that's and I looked it up, and yeah, probably the main issue with like that being it like they kind of are against, or they're fighting the slave trade. This this like tribe of women warriors and stuff, and this in Africa back in the day, and they were not fighting the slave. They were in the slave trade in actuality. Like they, so that's probably the biggest gaff or whatever. But yeah, it's worth seeing. It's just okay.
Sorry, the sad part about the slave trade, not that this is, but a lot of Africans and different tribes were bribed into bringing other Africans, and like it was.
Well, they're paid. I mean, that's what
I mean. They were paid, or they were threatened. They had no choice, and it's
right.
That's very sad to think about.
Well, I mean, but also as far as the movie's historical accuracy goes, how accurate is Gladiator or Braveheart? Either. So it doesn't. If you're, you can't just pick on the Woman King if we're gonna like talk about historical acts.
No, and their job is to make an entertaining movie, and you seem to like the movie, and it was entertaining, and that's really all that fucking matters.
Right.
Great. I saw.
And okay.
Sorry, did you see something else? No, something else you want to talk about? Go for
it. Real fast. I saw JFK. Have you seen JFK in a while?
I saw it like 3 years ago. Rewatched it 3 years ago.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. Again, like technically, it's just an amazing movie. The camera work, editing, especially the editing's awesome. Oliver Stone's at the top of his game. Great cast. But I remember, like in the '90s, the JFK assassination was like the #1 talking point with conspiracy theorists, and to have this kind of prestigious movie released that's nominated for all these Oscars that just throws around all these kind of crackpot theories and shit. I couldn't imagine a movie like that being made about like 9/11 or COVID or something. Like maybe they make one like starring Charlie Sheen and whoever that just throws around all like these crazy ideas about 9/11 or whatever. But so
didn't Oliver Stone make a 9/11 movie?
He did, World Trade Center, but well, it's not political. It's just about firefighters like getting trapped and stuff. But I'm just saying, like, about JFK is not really about the president. It's about the conspiracy of the JFK assassination. So just to make a movie that big about conspiracy theory, just throwing around conspiracy theories and shit at that level, I thought was interesting, if not like, not legitimate journalism at all, but still, interesting.
I watched Triangle of Sadness. Highly suggested. Loved it.
Yeah.
It's 2.5 hours, a little slow going, but once you finish it, and it's going to be hard for you at first. You're going to be like, what the fuck is this shit? But it gets there, and it gets there. There are some scenes where I'm just like, oh, it's so fucking good. And it gets crazier and crazier. Highly suggest it. I loved it. And then when you're done with it, it's easy to talk about. It's rich in themes and humor, and the humor so subtle, and then it'll be like a fucking jackhammer. Same with the satire. It's like, oh, this is fucking razor sharp satire. Then it's like, this is not even satire. This is just telling us what you think about things, But holy shit, that was a cool fucking movie. Highly suggest it. One of the best movies last year.
That's nominated for Best Picture, right?
They won the Palme d'Or.
Okay.
I'm not sure if I don't follow the Oscars.
Well, I don't. That's one of those movies I can go in blind to. I really know nothing about. I've heard about it, but I don't know anything about it. What's about?
Neither did I. I didn't. Yeah. I knew the director because I watched the Force Majeure or whatever, and I love that.
I know that movie, and he did the Square too and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. That same guy. Yeah. This is by far his best film. Like, just the craft is like insane, and you think you're like, holy shit, this is like one of the greats, and then he gets into like more heavy-handed shit, but it's so I don't want to say too much. You can learn more about our views on movies and our opinions in our Letterboxd accounts. I'm at Trade Me Faces, as you can see on the bottom of my little square there. Kenneth the Minute is not. His handle is
Night Train. Yeah, my old nickname. Yeah,
with an N.
Right.
Not a K. Okay.
No, like a traveling night train. Yeah.
But that's all we have to say about movies we've watched. We'll move on to a brief history of who we are. No, I'm just kidding. Do you want to rehash the plot, or would you like me to do it? I forget who's.
I can do it. I mean, yeah, a lot of these like Hong Kong movies, the plots are pretty.
Preface. Just tell me what the plot
convoluted.
is.
Well, twin babies are separated at birth for reasons I didn't really understand completely. And then later on, one becomes a
don't editorialize. Just tell us what the plot is.
Jackie Chan plays two brothers who are reunited years later, and they have to take down these bad guys, essentially.
That's what it is.
Yeah. Is there anything left to do? Do you understand why they were separate, or what that whole kidnapping thing was in the beginning?
Yeah, there's some criminal element happening in the hospital, and then that caused the ruckus of that caused them to be separated, but it had nothing to do with the overarching plot or the story, which you would normally want in a story of this nature. But no, it was just two random criminals, and one grabbed a baby as a hostage situation and threw it out the window. It happened to land in a safe place, and some drunk lady picked it up, and our story begins.
Yes, and so
which is great. I loved it though. I love there's this like quick action bursts and black and white, like so funny. I really like the preface.
Yeah.
You know, one time
I liked it too. Okay.
My Uber boss, when I was working at a United Artists, and I go, yeah, I just didn't like the preface. Preface? I'm like, yeah, I didn't like the preface. You mean preface?
Yeah.
And then he walked away like he had never been more disgusted by another human being in his life.
Yeah. I think I used to say hyperbole. I said hyperbole one time at work, and they're like, hyperbole? What is hyperbole? Oh, hyperbole? Oh, yeah.
Then I also did, I work in the movie industry. I go, yeah, I can't believe it did that well in Cannes. Con. Oh.
I was in a chat messenger one time, not to keep divulging on times we were found out to be stupid, but there was this like ski lift in Georgia, and it was just throwing people. It malfunctioned, started throwing people around, and I was like, "Wow, I didn't even know they had skiing in Georgia. You know, that's crazy." You know, and they're like, "No, not Georgia, the state, Georgia, the country." And I was like, "There's a country named Georgia?" Like, yeah, like the Beatles song, like, and Georgia's always on my mind. You know, like, oh, gotcha, yeah. So they're like, and then someone was like, "I can't believe like people in Georgia are probably like, there's people in fucking America that don't even know you even fucking exist." You know, I felt really knowledgeable then. Yeah.
We were literally doing Valkyrie the movie, and I go, "Yeah, it was about a big coup." Coup.
Coup, yeah.
Coup.
It's a coup. It's a big chicken coup.
Okay, little bird. Coup.
I hate it when people find out I'm stupid.
Yeah, I know. It happens almost every day, though, for me.
I know.
So what did you think of Twin Dragons overall?
Well, I was not that excited to watch it just because it's our third Jackie Chan movie.
Yeah, I realized that as we were watching it.
And we haven't even covered like Schwarzenegger or Van Damme or Chuck Norris or
Wait, was it our third or fourth? We haven't done Rush Hour yet.
We haven't done Rush Hour yet. Okay. No, we're saving some of the big ones, but it's our third one. But when it began, I was like, you know what? This is actually, I think, like really our first real Jackie Chan movie. I mean, it took me kind of back to like the 90s when they started, when I think it was like New Line Cinema or maybe it was Miramax, but anyway, they just bought up all these Hong Kong Jackie Chan, and they started releasing them one right after the other, like Rebel in the Bronx and First Strike, Operation Condor, all boom, 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 boom. And that's when I first got, familiar with Jackie Chan back in the 90s, mid 90s. I was like 13, teenager and stuff. So I had never seen this particular one before, but I did enjoy it very much on a nostalgic level, even though I hadn't seen it before. Just like, it's like, oh yeah, I remember I used to dig these fucking this was a real Jackie Chan movie.
Yeah, I saw it. We'll get more into like why I liked it. I saw it when it came out because I was a big Jackie Chan nut after I saw Rumble in the Bronx, when he came to America. I couldn't believe this shit. So I ate up all the like other ones they regurgitated and threw out to Western audiences, and this was one of them. I remember liking it fine, but by the end I did enjoy this very much. But let's get into it. We already talked about the opening, so no reason to rehash that. Isn't it kind of weird that one kid's taken by this rich family and gets classically trained at all these schools all over the world as this amazing pianist? The other kid gets picked up by some drunken lady and he's a mechanic, but somehow is a world-renowned martial artist.
Yeah, they don't do a good job explaining his martial arts background.
I thought there'd be some training montage or something, but nothing. He just happens to be that great.
He's a mechanic that also is really fucking good at kung fu,
and a great driver apparently, which they barely even touch. I don't know why that's even the movie.
Well, not to skip ahead, but like when they had this big opening fight sequence at this kind of like nightclub type thing. The mafia guy is like, "You guys are fucking dead." He finally gets him and his other buddy, who's kind of like the buddy before the buddy movie starts with his twin brother. But anyway, and he's like, "You guys are fucking dead." It's like, "Yeah, well, he could race." "Oh, you're a racer? Meet me tomorrow at the, at the thing." And like, he's ready to kill them right then and there. But then it's like, "Okay, meet me tomorrow because I want to see how good you are."
Yeah. And what does he have to lose? Why don't you just kill him there? Like what?
Yeah.
Whatever. And then they make like a wager or something with him, like
just
kill him and take his money.
Yeah.
Not the best plotting or setup by any means.
No, but the fight scenes are pretty fucking phenomenal, especially,
Well, hold on, we'll get into
Yeah.
that. I like the really silly cartoonish moments. It's like throughout though. Like when the boss gets hit by the car and he bings between two cars.
Very Wile E. Coyote, yeah.
And there's no reason for it. There's a lot of small little characters. Like the waiter is really funny. Like they're talking about really serious shit. He's like, "Wow, that sounds intense." Just leans in and they're like, like he has this whole bit. Like I love the playfulness of the tone. Like nothing's really serious.
No, it does. It has a consistent tone. A lot of his movies do have this very consistent tone all the way through,
which is not really on par for a lot of Asian filmmaking, whether it's China,
right,
Japan, or South Korea.
Yeah,
the tones are usually all over the fucking place. This one, his is just funny most of the time through. I love that the female character, we'll get into the females and how they're treated, but she's dating, she like works for this pretty prestigious thing that handles musicians or whatever the fuck, and her boyfriend is this Rocky character who's this big, insane nut job. Where did they meet?
Well, like lots of this movie, it's not really that well explained, but you just got to go with it, I guess.
All right, let's get into the female characters just real quick.
Sure.
It's a touch rapey because Jackie Chan switches between two women. They don't know that there's two guys. They always think it's the same guy they're with, whether he's the tough guy or the pianist, the classical pianist. They don't know which is which. So they get romantic with the other guy. Sorry, go ahead.
So if a twin convinces you they're the other person, they sleep with you.
Here's the thing.
Is that rape?
Here's the thing, and I'm glad we brought this up.
Yeah.
The twins themselves didn't know they were twins. They just thought these were just easy women.
And he thought he was just getting with this gal who's just all over him. Yeah.
And for a while I was like, well, that's not rapey. They're all just confused people, and the fallout of that is just a product of the confusion. But then as the movie progresses, and Jackie Chan's realize they know each other are the twins, and they know the situation, they keep the lie going.
Well, I think they just like the other one's girlfriend better, and they kind of split off.
But there are some hijinks there where it's like, you need to tell this woman that you have a guy that looks just like you.
And she had sex with him, not you.
Yes, and he's right here, hiding in the bathtub, literally. And you're getting naked, so maybe we should talk about this before you get in the bathtub naked with what you think is a stranger.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of morally ambiguous themes here. Can I talk about another movie? But I also
you sound like that Duke lawyer.
Duke lawyer, yeah. Didn't take it off. Okay. So Revenge of the Nerds. He puts on the mask.
Like rape. He knows what he's doing. He knows he's pretending to be her boyfriend.
Okay.
That's rape. Yes.
Okay. Well, but I would say though, you only see him kind of his mask. He kind of goes down below, camera, and then he comes back up.
It's heavily implied he goes down.
He went down on her. So tricking someone into letting you go down on them. What's that?
So here's your argument, Duke lawyer, is that is oral rape? Oral's a great thing to happen.
If you give oral to somebody, if you trick someone into letting you give them oral, what is that? I'm just curious what that is. Is there a name for that?
It's rape. It's called oral rape.
Well, if that's a crime, then lock me in.
Luckiest victim I've ever been a part of.
Yeah. Oh, she'll probably cry herself to sleep tonight. God, jeez. No. Okay, now we digress too much. Sorry. Let's back to Twin Dragon.
Oh man, good thing we're not monetized.
Yeah. We just lost our dollar.
It is by far the worst duplicate, two actors playing the same character I've ever seen.
Yeah. Well, I was ready for that because I think I read that trivia while I was watching it, and it took a while for the twins to meet up. But I didn't think it was that bad. But maybe it was. It wasn't like Multiplicity or like as good as some of the other ones. But in some shots, it was definitely.
I thought Parent
bad,
Trap from I want to say the 60s was better.
60s, yeah. Right.
This
Double
was
Impact
really
was
bad.
better. It was pretty
Like
bad.
the eye lines were never matched whatsoever. The simplest thing is that they did like.
Yeah.
But I understand, like this came out, and we'll get into that. We'll get into that more. My favorite scene. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, apparently Jackie Chan was not happy with the special effects either, and I guess supposedly he said he wouldn't do a special effects movie again until he came to it like America with these big, huge budgets and stuff because he was very disappointed by how the special effects came out in this one.
Well, good for him.
Yeah.
And what big special effects movies has he done though? He hasn't been in any big special effects.
Well, he was in some that were like not well received, like the Tuxedo. Remember that one that came out with him and Jennifer Love Hewitt and stuff like that?
That's not like a big special effects movie. Like even Jet Li was in the one where he plays multiple versions of himself through the multiverse. Ahead of its time, by the way. The one, right?
The one, yeah.
Anyway. My favorite scene, probably aside from, and we'll get into the ending, but the conductor scene was my favorite set piece. Like I thought that was when he thought that going backwards is what was making the band go, and so he kept doing it, and then he backs all the way out, and then has to make a quick call, and then comes back in with a cigarette, and he's doing all these flips and shit. It was very to me like Steve Martin-ish almost. Like I thought
it was very wacky. It reminded me of that Bugs Bunny cartoon where he's a conductor. I forget which one that one's called. But they do really push the whole phenomenon or whatever of twins that can feel each other. I mean, like mimicking them. Do you believe in any of that that hocus pocus of twins actually can feel like each other or do it? No, I don't think so.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe I don't believe in anything. Like
I believe in nothing, Lebowski.
No, like I believe like when people lose an arm and their arm itches and they have that phantom limb.
Oh yeah.
My dad
told me that was real
because there's too many accounts of it. The twin thing where they like feel the sensation of another twin. I don't think that's the thing. No. Because all it is what your brain can compute, and your brain can compute what another brain is computing that's not in the same room. Then you can maybe jump to conclusions in that. But if a twin is feeling something out of view or out of knowledge of what the brain is feeling, then it's absolutely impossible. The brain can't travel,
Well, this movie full on believes that shit, and you could even, I guess, like you could even control your twin like a puppeteer by doing stuff with like punching and stuff like that. Yeah,
which we'll get to, but that stuff was fine, and within the context of this movie, I wasn't like that's bullshit. But if you asked me in real life,
I was throwing popcorn at the TV. Fuck this, No, that's fine.
That sidekick character, that guy who was like the little Danny DeVito character who is ruining everything constantly. Supposed to be the comedic relief, but he's just garbage. What did you think of that character? Did he remind you of anybody?
Not really. I just thought he was just it was weird. Like he was like it was like a buddy action comedy, but then they just get rid of him. And then
he's just kind of like the Joe Pesci character, but way less endearing. He was just like horrible. Anyway, Mary comes in. I'm watching. She's not even watching it. She goes, "That character reminds me of Kinney."
Oh, really? That
character? And I know. Well, she's like, that guy's just as annoying as Kinney. I go, I know, right?
Yeah. Okay. I'm not buying that.
Mary says hi, by the way.
Hi, Mary. Yeah. Tommy Lee Jones and JFK reminded me just of Lucas. I'm like, what other homosexual traitor that's trying to kill the president? Where do I know this? Oh yeah, Lucas, of course.
You're still the Joe Pesci in that scenario, though.
Touche.
The women characters absolutely disappear during the climax. We'll get to the climax.
Yeah. Well, do they need to be there? A lot of times they're there for no reason anyway.
But they're big characters. They're major characters in this movie. There are 4 major characters in this movie. The 2 Jackie Chans and the 2 female characters. Do you not want them in the last third of your fucking movie? It's only 90 minutes long.
Well, I mean, I like both those actresses that played the character.
One's Jet Li's wife, apparently.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah. but yeah, well, I think they'd just be damsels in distress or something if they were in the climax. I
Well,
don't
sure,
know
if you
what they
wrote
were.
it that way,
Yeah.
they would be. Sure, if Kenny wrote it, they
Uh-huh.
would, but you could have them be more active
And
participants.
what would you write them
I
as?
don't know. They could have been
The
controlling
brilliant
the machine.
scribe, Lucas.
They could have been controlling the machine or whatever with the Kenny character on
They
the magnet, you know?
magically hit a button that
Yeah,
drop something. How would they
anything
know
like
that?
that. It could have
Oh,
been a
that's that.
Jamie Lee Curtis True Lies
Yeah.
situation. You know, it's not like they have to be a man and a tough action star. They can
Yeah.
still handle themselves in a high stress
Yeah.
situation. Women are
What
just
if
as
the
equal as men. Kenny, I hate having this conversation with you
Yeah.
over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Let's get
Okay.
into the climax, though. The last 30
You're the one that can't can tell the actresses apart. Just giving me shit about
Oh,
being
can
sexist.
you?
What's
Do you
wonderful.
know?
Yes, I can.
I couldn't even tell the two leads apart. The
Oh. Well, one has a ponytail,
and
and the
earrings,
other one doesn't.
and that
And the
changes
earrings,
too.
yes.
Yeah,
And he's the mechanic, I guess, right?
and he does the pig honk to make himself different. He goes, that was Jackie Chan's character choice when he's
That was
the
his
tough guy.
character choice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like this is how it's like Jeremy Irons and Dead Ringer. It's like I'm going to bring a different energy to both of these things, you know.
Oh, it's him.
Yeah.
I will say, like, this movie I was kind of indifferent of. They really used the two twins thing well and all that, but the climax was classic peak Jackie Chan. Like, I think the last 30 minutes is just fucking A-list Jackie Chan. I've seen a lot of Jackie Chan. It is not Drunken whatever.
Master.
Yeah, Drunken Master. That's but it is up there. This is up there with some of the best Jackie Chan shit that exists. And it reminded me, because it's been years since I really gotten into Jackie Chan. I was like, okay, this is amazing. And it was, because it was early 90s when they actually filmed this, and he was just fucking awesome. I was like, okay, the movie, it's worth the price of admission, that alone.
I really brought back. I like the last 20 minutes. I like the whole movie, actually. Like I said, just reminded me about how cool Jackie Chan's movies were in the 90s and how different they were than a lot of stuff we were seeing and stuff. And like the stunt work. I mean, I kind of knew when they're going into a car test area. Well, this has to end with some crash test dummy shit. They're not going to go in there and not make that happen. But they really know how to make set pieces work. I mean, the fight choreography is always fucking insane. I mean, Jackie Chan seems to always really be earning his paycheck doing this shit. So yeah, I like this one a lot more than I thought. And it was actually kind of panned when it came out. It didn't get good reviews. I think American critics, at least. Well, should we talk about the release dates and stuff?
Yeah. Let's go into that, because that kind of goes into why Americans didn't like it as much, or the Western, whatever. Go ahead.
Well, this came out in '92 in Hong Kong, and then I don't know if it was like New Line Cinema or Miramax or whoever, but when they were buying up all these, this was one, like, I think the last ones to get like a major release in America after Rebel Bronx and Super Cop and First Strike. It came out in '99, so I've been doing that for like 4 years or so. So I think maybe critics were just getting a little tired of these kind of movies at that point. And so I think that's kind of why it was kind of it wasn't given a pass like the other ones were or something. And also maybe it's just a little too silly or something. But what do you think?
Well, it came out in 92, 93, whatever, in the Asian communities, and did really well. It actually did really well and performed well at the box office in almost all of them. Top 10 of the year, a lot of times higher than that,
Yeah.
So it was a big movie, and then it comes out almost a decade later in the States with like no changes or whatever. And it's also one of the last ones that Jackie Chan had released. So it's already dated for Jackie Chan movies that were already like 5 years late to come to us and whatever. This one was almost 10 years later.
Yeah.
So, and then it has a special effects aspect, which was dated when it came out on Jackie Chan was upset about it before it came out on the East, when it came out almost 7 years later on the West, where we already have better special effects. It was really dated. So that's why the critics didn't like it and why it didn't do that hot. Still made another $10 million. So
right. I mean, and also these like the attractive thing about this was like you should buy the movie. It's already done. It's already finished. You basically just have to kind of market it a little bit.
Free movie. Yeah, you spend
it's a free movie.
Yeah, you've spent $5 million in marketing, if that, because Jackie Chan's all you need to plaster the thing, and then you're going to make $5 million, which they did. But it made really good money overseas.
Yeah.
It made like with the adjustion. It made like 85 million, I want to say, something like that, for a movie that probably cost 5 million, maybe 10, which I doubt
Something
even
like
that.
that. Well, China is kind of nuts because there's like 1.7 billion people in China. There's 300 million in America. There's some movies that make like almost $1 billion just from China. So it's like you can almost, if you just have a Chinese movie, just release it in China, you can make a shitload just China. That's why a lot of these big movies like almost like want to pander to the Chinese audience. That's a huge market.
Well, that's why Hollywood isn't pandering to them anymore. Like Marvel doesn't do well there, Star Wars doesn't do well. They're not trying to pander as much as they were. I think we've already talked about this, but because aside from, unless you have a special deal with them, you're only getting a quarter of your investment back. You're only getting a quarter of the profit. So like, let's say you make $100 million stateside, that's $100 million China. You're only going to make 25 million of that.
Well, China's probably locked down on that, where they're like, okay, you're not getting all of this money back to you. This is going to our theaters and shit. Yeah.
They make it very, very difficult. And I understand that. And they also have a lot of propaganda in a lot of their movies. Not like the US, not like our Transformer movies, just salt of the earth, human stories.
Transformers, American Sniper, what?
Captain America. Whoa. Just realized that.
Yeah. I like our propaganda movies here. They make me feel good. I'll watch Rocky IV all day.
Chinese propaganda movies. I don't get that.
Ah, boo. I'm going to pop in Red Dawn again. Those fucking commie bastards.
So I think we were both in. What did you think about this movie? Like, what would you rate it as a buddy action comedy?
Well, I did enjoy it. I didn't think it didn't like stick with me or anything. I didn't like spend a day or two thinking it's pretty disposable all in all, but it's a solid Jackie Chan movie. And I hadn't seen one in a while and I really liked it. So I give it like, I don't want to rate it low, but I give it like 3.5 or something. I think it's a solid. I don't think it's his best movie. I think like for old school Jackie Chan, I remember I watched Police Story, that one, not like a while ago. I thought that was awesome. Some of his other stuff is probably a little better, but as one of his, it's a solid, Jackie Chan entry. Yeah.
When it started, it was kind of, because some of the action early on is just kind of ho-hum Jackie Chan. Wasn't until that last half hour I was like, holy shit, this is what he's about and why he's so revered and lasted the test of time globally. I will rate this in 3 tiers. As a Jackie Chan movie, I give it 4 out of 5. I think you need to watch it as a Jackie Chan fan, or if you're interested in Jackie Chan. As a buddy action comedy, I got to give it like 2.5 because the buddy aspect wasn't there. Like, they're not got their connection. They weren't even making eye contact.
Well, one of the funniest elements of it, I want to hear what you say, but real fast, like, was that they run into each other a couple of times and they don't seem that phased. Throughout the movie, even when they finally kind of get together, they're still not that like weirded out by any of this.
No, and then they have like a few like, get out of my fucking hotel room, blah blah blah, and then the next scene, like, we're in this together forever. Me too.
We're brothers.
What?
Yeah. Yeah. The whole relationship didn't make any fucking sense, but whatever.
No, and the action is only okay until the last half. So as a buddy action comedy, I give it 2.5, and probably the same as a movie too, because it is enjoyable, but couldn't suggest it to anybody as it's aged, unless you want to give it the caveat, like, but the last half hour, like, So.
Well, that, because you said something about the Glimmer Man, like, I'd say I'd recommend this to Jackie Chan fans, even though I think this is a lot more fun movie than Glimmer Man. But
you would recommend Glimmer Man to Jackie Chan fans?
No, sorry, I recommend Glimmer Man to Steven Seagal fans, and I would recommend this movie to Jackie Chan fans. But I wouldn't really recommend this movie to someone who's not a Jackie Chan fan. Although I couldn't imagine someone kind of not being a Jackie Chan fan at all. It'd be like, someone doesn't like Willie Nelson or something. Like what, you hate Willie Nelson? Like what? Like why?
Well, I can see the not liking Jackie Chan because he is a Chinese, government.
Oh, spy.
No, like the.
Okay, well, Jackie Chan as a persona, as a movie star, not like maybe as his personal politics or something.
No, here we go. How do we separate that?
Separate? Yeah, easy. I do it all the time. That's the candidates I vote for. I don't like his policies, but I do like that tie he's wearing.
It was a good movie. What did you get from this? Did this movie leave you with anything? Any lasting thoughts? Any imprint on your soul? Like every movie leaves some imprint. What did this movie leave on your soul?
I don't like this segment anymore because none of these movies fucking do. But I would say
maybe your issue is your inability to articulate your feelings.
No, it did make me think of like the 90s a lot, and that the kind of era of these, like, you know, Jackie Chan, I think, was like the first. I knew of Bruce Lee, of course, but I felt like he was kind of the first, like, you know, Asian action like star in America when I was a teenager, at least. Jet Li came a little later, but like he was kind of like the first one of those.
Well, I'm sorry I asked. I didn't know you were going to get so gay.
Gay?
Talking about your feelings and shit. Jesus.
God, what this movie put on your soul, Kenny? Well, it made me think of my teenage years. Wow, what a gay wad. Am I right, everybody? All right, what did it put on your soul?
Nothing is a fucking Jackie Chan movie.
I'm a man. What are you talking
about? My soul is set in stone.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think we've covered a lot of this show. Lucas and Mary think I'm small, gay, and annoying. So I guess that's what I'm.
Whoa! What's wrong with being gay?
Yeah.
God, now you're homophobic too?
You're the one that acted like it was an insult. So
no, I was just saying stuff. You heard what you wanted to hear.
You used to say that's gay. This is gay all the time. What does that mean? It's gay. That's what you used to say all the time.
Yeah. Well, what is your answer?
I think you think gay means lame, and that's why you say that's gay.
That's
why is being gay lame, Lucas?
You're saying what I said. You want me to explain why being gay is lame? Because it's not lame, Kenny. What I am doing is I am attacking your frail white male ego. And you can't handle it. Yeah, I'm just showing you a mirror, and you are turning into a rock like Medusa in front of you. That's all.
So you go around calling. So it'd be like you going around calling white guys the N-word just to face them with their own racism.
Whoa! Yikes!
you
want to tease the movie for next week, Kenny?
Yeah, we're going to be watching 1990s The Hard Way, starring Michael J. Fox and James Woods, one of my favorites. He's a great guy. Lucas is a big fan too. He says, tell me, who's not gay? James Woods. And I was like, really? It's like, yeah, no way, that guy's gay. And I was like, okay, guess I'll give his Twitter a try.
Well, that's not going to give us a lot to talk about with James Woods in it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's not going to come across as well as Jackie Chan.
What do you know anything about like that, the Chinese nationalism and what's going on with Taiwan and all that?
I know they're trying to take over Taiwan. Yeah, like they did with Hong Kong.
Yeah, it's pretty horrible.
Yeah.
And this movie took place in Hong Kong. It's like, wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, how can you be that close to your own people and then want to have their freedoms destroyed and then lick the boot of your oppressors? I mean, maybe they don't have a choice, but Jackie Chan has a choice. He can go move to America and sing it from a rooftop.
Hong Kong was part of Britain until 1997, and then they gave it back to the people, and then China basically just took it over.
Yeah, that's what happens.
Yeah.
It's frightening.
Yeah.
Nothing's sacred with these dictatorships. And you know what? I don't want to get into it, but maybe America's in the middle of a dictatorship with Biden.
Man, Twin Dragons really left its impression on you, man. It'll give you a lot to think about.
So we're watching The Hard Way.
The Hard Way next week. Yeah, sounds good.
And I just want to touch on one more thing.
Oh, here comes the provocative question.
I didn't think there is anything wrong with the quasi rape in this movie. In fact, I wish they leaned into it more.